Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Ukrainian show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and our guest today is our man in Kiev, Ivan Kucherenko. Welcome to the show, Ivan.
Hello, Sasha. Hello to everyone. Glad to be here today.
Okay, very good. So the situation on front lines and overall is developing very favorably for Ukraine. And last few days, I'll tell you honestly, I was following the story about conflict or something that it's not 100% clear between Fedorov and Sirsky. And the reason that I'm touching that subject on today's show is that there were articles about that in The Guardian, the English newspaper, and Independence, and The Economist. So it's something that cannot be hidden as the kind of a misunderstanding between two people. Okay, next day they got together, they had some vodka, and everything is now clear and nice and so on. It's a little bit bigger than that, but all I must admit is, regardless of your point of view, I think it's very beneficial for Ukrainian society to have an open, okay, there is a conflict, there is a misunderstanding, let's figure out exactly what it is. Because it's a very crucial time, and we cannot just hide it and say, well, we don't know, we don't care, or so on. It's probably not what's happened. I think it's a complicated question. It's not simple question that one man said that, and this man said that, and so this is right, this is wrong. No, it's completely out of question to treat it this way. So I will let ask you, what's your personal point of view, and I'll tell you what's mine. And because situation has not been clarified yet, but it will, and I think very soon.
Yeah, actually, the Ukrainian society faced, I think, pretty similar situation to what happened when President Zelensky decided to change the chief commander of Ukrainian armed forces, General Zaluzhny. And he decided to place Sirsky instead of him. And at that time, Ukrainian society was not really happy with that changes, because General Zaluzhny proved his efficiency as chief commander during the defense of Kiev during the first days of invasion and successful offensive operations in Kharkiv and Kherson. But then government said, Zelensky said, that it was all Sirsky who planned and executed those operations. So he would be a good person to take place instead of Zaluzhny. And at that time, Ukrainian society was okay with such explanation. But now, when previous minister of Ukrainian digital ministry, Mikhailo Fedorov, was placed as a Minister of Defense of Ukraine, and he made a great commitment to change the processes inside the Ministry of Defense, to digitalize them, to implement the system of efficiency, KPI system, and he particularly implemented several such initiatives like e-scores system, when Ukrainian regiments had dashboards when they fixed all the achievements on the battlefield, how much enemy vehicles they destroyed, how many enemy troops they destroyed. They've got special scores for that, and they could exchange those scores for drones. The more enemy troops you destroy, the more scores you get, and the more drones you can get instead to destroy more enemy troops. And also during those 6 months of his of him being in the head of Ministry of Defense, there was a successful improvement of efficiency of the percentage of kamikaze Shahid drones being shot down. Before that, it was like 80% of all Russian, Iranian Shahid drones, which Ukrainian air defense was able to shut down, and that number increased to more than 90%. So it was a great increase in the efficiency, and in different areas as well. But he faced the how to say some kind of old generals mafia inside the system, which were used to some old processes.
In other words, they wanted to monopolize all actions on the front lines against Russia, and they didn't want to have anybody else even participate.
Yeah. Because it's even not about the corruption, because a lot of people say it's about corruption, about some schemes which he ruined, some lobby of great weapon manufacturing companies and some huge contracts. For instance, he was against buying tanks because on the modern battlefield tanks are useless, and he was really joking from Germany, for instance, or Poland or other European countries who are preparing for the war with Russia, and that instead of drones, thousands of drones, they're buying tanks, and they are spending billions of dollars, billions of euros in
there must be some corruption element, because why would they?
I think it's not about corruption. It's a very strong lobby of great old weapon manufacturers, which were used to produce tanks. They're not producing drones, and they're taking those generals, going with them to restaurants, going to them with some business trips to their factories, show them how great those tanks are and how technological they are, and they say, okay, we understand tanks, we don't understand drones, because they are old era of military commanders. They've started their career when tanks was a king of battlefield. Actually, you can not achieve anything without tanks. But now the time changes, and Mikhailo Fedorev, as one of the person who actually lead that drone revolution in Ukraine, starting from the first days of Russia full-scale invasion, he understood that pretty well, and it looks like that old team of old generals were successful in getting him from the ministry. But Ukrainian society suddenly stood up, and they got on the rally with on the streets to support him, and because even President Zelensky confirmed that he had to choose between Minister of Defense Mikhailo Fedorev and Chief Commander Alexander Syrsky, that one of them should be fired, and it was better to fire both of them, but he decided to fire to change the Minister of Defense, and instead of Fedorev, the Syrsky chief commander, he has a worse reputation in Ukrainian society. He's in army also. In army, he has a nickname like Bachur, because he used to arrange the war with assault troops, with a lot of assault troops going and making some operations. Of course, such tactics give some results, and as you've seen from the latest updates. Somewhere Ukrainian armies liberating more territories than Russia even has able to conquer. But these operations, they unfortunately they face great casualties as well, because you cannot commit assault operations without losing of soldiers. And Mikhailo Fedorov, as Minister of Defense, he got another option, another idea that all operations that could be done by robots, by drones, they should be done by drones. And I've got a really nice video for you for today. Is a short fragment of interview with Chief Commander of Ukrainian Unmanned Forces, Robert Magyar Brody, who is responsible now for all those successful operations with deep strikes inside Russian territory, with the paralyzing Russian logistics, and of course with the situation in Crimea. So his interview and those short fragment actually illustrates the new approach for how a modern war should be arranged in the new era where all we are now facing. So let's watch it right now, and then we can continue the discussion.
Okay, thank you. Let's see.
Тому нема, і я вам хочу сказати, його там не буде.
Your plan to isolate Crimea is clearly working very well, but it doesn't seem like you're finished with the Russians in Crimea yet. How much worse is it going to get for the Russians?
Ми створюємо умови непереносимості хробаком перебування на півострові. І відповідно, закриваючи зараз шляхи доступу, не шляхи виходу. Ми не чіпаємо Кримський міст, якщо ви не помітили. Нехай уйобують через нього. От всі ті мільйони, нехай через той місток пиздують без зупинки в свою Росію і десь уїжджають дуже далеко за Урал, щоб жити спокійно. Це те, що вони втратили, обжившись тут за понад 10 років, це їх бумеранг, їх карма. Нехуй було лізти на наш Крим. Нехай пиздують зараз в Сибір і з чистого листа собі там розбудовують, якщо їм віку достатньо. Але ми не заважатимемо, нехай виходять. Ми опікуємося їх логістикою всіх видів, котра дозволяє перекидувати особовий склад, підвозити боєприпаси, перекидувати якісь військові інші знаряддя, засоби і сили, котрі використовуються проти нас на півдні або запускаються по Україні з Кримського полуострова. А ми вперше в історії робимо то без сухопутної операції. Ми створюємо умови неможливості їх там перебування, не витрачаючи жодного життя українського військовослужбовця. Ми робимо це виключно дистанційно, з засобами, що називаються волелюбним українським птахом. І коли ми сьогодні подивимося на мапу, то там, де вдалося відновити електропостачання, це поки стосується одного маленького ареальчику під назвою Керч, тому що туди вже Хробак провів переноску, кабель кинув. Але ми і з тим впораємося за будь-яких умов. Це, я вам говорю, сьогодні, коли за 3 доби ми 21 танкер вже спалили на підходах з паливом до Криму за 72 години. Ми спалимо іще 121 і 221 спалимо. От стільки, скільки їх буде, стільки спалимо. Питання часу.
You heard the words that operation is committed first time in history without any soldier, without ground operation, and it's a new era of wars. Actually, it's asymmetric war. It's what now actually happens between United States and Iran in the Middle East, because Iran understood that acting asymmetrically, like Ukraine is acting in this war, using cheap drones which fly pretty slow, which have a small warhead, but that warhead is enough to severely damage a ship, for instance, to block the transport in some region, to attack oil infrastructure, even to attack military objects. It's enough. And in order to intercept those cheap drones, you have to waste $1 million worth rockets, like Patriot rockets, which one cheap drones, Shahed drones, its price is like $50,000, and one Patriot missile PAC-3 costs $4 million. And the first days of that war in Iran, they were completely mind blowing for Ukrainians when the United States, when their allies in the Middle East, they've used 4 million extremely rare Patriot missiles to intercept those very cheap Iranian drones, which Ukraine now successfully intercepts with another drones. Now the majority of all intercepts of the same Russian drones, Russian-Iranian drones, which Russia uses to attack Ukraine, they are committed with intercept drones, with smaller drones, which costs even if Shahed drone price of Shahed drones is like $50,000, the price of drone interceptor, a smaller drone interceptor, but which is enough to intercept that bigger Shahed drones, is like several thousand dollars. Several $1,000 intercept Shahed drone which price is $50,000 and is efficient. And Ukraine now, with the help of allies, with help of European countries mostly, but not only European countries, also with help of American countries, American investors, is producing those drones in huge amounts. By the way, did you know that Eric Schmidt, a former CEO of Google, he is one of such investors into Ukrainian mutual Ukrainian American company which produce drones, and they're pretty efficient in the battlefield. And now he has, thanks to that experience, he has multi-million contracts with the Pentagon. He is also supplying, his company is supplying those drones to Pentagon. And Minister Fedorov was one of the persons in Ukraine, actually Mikhailo Fedorov, who helped to develop this technological process and this drone revolution in Ukraine, thanks to his role previously in the Ministry of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, and during the last 6 months in the Ministry of Defense. So this crisis, actually, it will lead to changes. I'm pretty sure that Syrskyi would be fired as chief commander, and some more agile towards the modern technologies commander will took his place. There are several candidates, and all those candidates are pretty good. I'm not sure that Zelensky would let Mikhailo Fedorov to come back to the seat of Minister of Defense, but it's one of the requirements of the people on the streets. So maybe he will have to accept that requirement, and maybe Mikhailo Fedorov would come back. We will see.
By the way, one of the versions that I've heard, and more than from one source, that the nature, the big reason for the conflict between Syrskyi and Fedorov was that Syrskyi apparently has direct or indirect interest in different companies that supply not only drones but other ammunition and weapons. And sometimes his actions were dictated not by necessity of the front, what they need, but what's more convenient and more profitable for him to supply at any given time. Again, I have no proof of that, but I've heard it from well more than one source. By the way, the latest thing what I heard just early morning today was that Syrskyi asked directly Fedorov is that, do we have a conflict? It's the first time ever that I heard that we have a conflict. But listen, I'm ready to apologize for whatever. Maybe I said something not nice or I did something. It's okay. It's a normal thing when two people are arguing about something. Oh, okay, my apologies. Thank you. So I think that Syrskyi now feels that maybe not so simple situations that he may, in fact, be kicked out by Zelensky. By the way, but you see, all these things. A lot of people believe that there's a growing corruption, evidently, and so on. So each conflict like this, it's sort of get the air out of this pocket where it's stale and it stinks probably by now. So it gets out. It cleans up situation. So I hope Zelensky will be on top of it and he'll do all the right thing. But we'll see. Right now, people are almost ready for a Maidan, and we know what is Maidan. And Zelensky knows what is Maidan. So I think he will be very careful of what he's going to do.
I'm not sure that any Maidan is possible because people, the active part of society, they understand that it's not time for Maidan during a full-scale war because we need to have a government, a controlled government, and we are not. That any chaos it will also assist Russia to achieve their goals politically. And the history of Ukraine actually shows that during all previous Ukrainian wars for independence, during the first Ukrainian Republic after the collapse, which appeared after the collapse of Russian Empire in the 1917, the Bolsheviks they were able to capture Ukraine because Ukrainian elites, Ukrainian government at that time was not united. There were several powerful leaders, and they instead of uniting against the one powerful enemy, Bolsheviks, they were busy struggling each other, and that eventually lead to the end of the Ukrainian independence. Pretty shortly, it was just several years of the Ukrainian Republic after the Bolsheviks were able to capture Kiev and to put their government. So now I hope that Ukrainian leaders they've learned that lessons, because we had some rumors when Zelensky initiated the change of commander-in-chief Zaluzhny. We had some rumors that there may be a military plot against Zelensky, and that Zaluzhny has such great authority amongst the army that they can just unite and go to Kiev and kick off Zelensky and establish some kind of military government. But hopefully all those were rumors. Maybe they were just some special operations of Russian propaganda to destabilize the Ukrainian society, and Zaluzhny, like pretty good person and officer, he just accepted that change and left his position. And I hope that the same situation would be with Syrsky. Of course, Syrsky is trying to keep his power, to keep his seat, and but Ukrainian society will not accept it. The Pandora box is already opened with this situation, and a lot of because after that change, the Mikhailo Fedorov, he arranged a press conference, and he openly told during that press conference about all issues with Alexander Syrsky, how he sabotaged actually his decisions, and Fedorov, as a Minister of Defense, was not able to implement any changes because it was some kind of sabotage from Syrsky and his generals and his colonels for those changes. And Ukrainian society, Ukrainian people see that, and they will not accept Syrsky more in the seat of chief commander. So.
Ivan, don't forget that Syrsky is a product of old school, Soviet school of army behavior, and he very rarely have a public appearances or interviews or anything, and he believes everything has to be strictly under his control, and he sometimes manages even smaller army units just to move them and does everything to have his complete personal control over everything. And when you are moving into a more technological phase of war, and what Fedorov is trying to do, I think Syrsky sometimes maybe even doesn't fully understand what Fedorov is trying to do, or for the army vertical purposes and control, he not only ignores, and he even trying to derail everything what Fedorov is trying to do. So, so it is right on Zelensky part to try to figure out that it's inconceivable situation that has to be ruled. But there is a third factor now, is the people on the street who demand certain actions and have the only thing is, I'm surprised how Fedorov was able to create such a strong movement for himself and so on, because that tells me that he has obviously a political ambitions and political aspirations, quite possible, and that's why Zelensky is a little bit afraid of him and trying to fire him, and now it's all under review because of the actions on the streets.
Yeah, probably it's worth to say that Mikhailo Fedorov was one of the closest team members of President Zelensky during his electoral campaign, and he was responsible for his digital advertisement campaigns during the electoral campaign, and for spreading all those messages, good messages for every target audience, which was actually a recipe of success of the Trump campaign, when he gave promises, electoral promises, and thanks to the possibilities of digital advertisement, of targeted advertisement in social media, you're able to deliver those messages specifically to the specific audience. For instance, you can say to one part of audience that okay, we will end war of Russia with Ukraine in 24 hours by letting Ukraine win, and deliver this message to the pro-Ukrainian electional audience. And you can say, okay, we will end this war in 24 hours by signing a peace treaty between Russia and Ukraine on good conditions for Russia, and deliver the audience to another electional audience,
You
which
make everybody happy, yeah?
and everybody happy, but those two messages they do not match each other. They're opposite, because Ukraine cannot win on Russian conditions actually. But thanks to the possibilities of digital advertisement, you can arrange it. You cannot say it on the open, on the stage, for instance, because it's a bullshit. On the stage you can say, okay, we'll end war in 24 hours. But then how you will end this war in 24 hours? Then it will be delivered by social media in different ways to different audiences. So Mikhailo Fedorov is a really good person in digital. He's pretty smart. He's a good manager. And coming back to what you said, that his approach was that we should focus on efficiency, but not on the old way of waging war. And Syrskyi, as a representative of the old generation of generals, actually Soviet generals, unfortunately, because he was in the Soviet army. Zaluzhny was not in the Soviet army, but Syrskyi was in the Soviet army, and he had another view. And as one of the someone said that small Soviet army cannot defeat big Soviet army. Comparing that, if you're defending against a big Soviet army, Russian army, your army could not be Soviet. You need another way of arranging army, and other tactics, and other solutions, asymmetric solutions, and obviously they're based on the drone technologies, and not on just getting more assault troops on the battlefield and trying to use meat grinder tactics against Russian meat grinder tactics.
Well, Russians still are losing well over 1,000 soldiers a day, and unless they will do mobilization, they will eventually run out of troops. And mobilization probably is even scarier for Putin than anything else, because there could be open revolt against him. People are getting really tired of this.
That's how last Russian Tsar Nikolai lost his throne, actually, after he waged mobilization, and all those thousands of hundred thousands of people, millions of people actually, who were not happy by the economy problems in Russia, who starved. Actually, they put their weapons against Tsar himself. So Putin knows Russian history pretty well, and is afraid of that, and he seen the consequences of his first mobilization, small partial mobilization, which he committed in 2023 after successful Ukrainian counter-offensive operations, and he's afraid. But according to the Ukrainian Intelligence Society data, they're ready for that mobilization, and they can implement it after the so-called elections in Russia in September. So obviously in the end of September, in October, Russia will try to mobilize several hundred thousands of people. But I hope that Ukrainian will have enough drones to kill all those Russian mobiks.
Yeah, by the way, on statistics, the mobiks last something between 10 and 12 days. And once they're on the front lines, okay, so they survive for a few days and maybe more, but they're all being killed sooner or later because they don't have experience, they don't understand how to fight it. And
a higher number of conscripts actually will not mean the better level of their preparations, of their trainings. The level would be even lower, so their life on the battlefield would be even shorter. And Ukraine has really great fortifications on different sides of border, not only on the east, but now the northern regions of Ukraine are building fortifications. The Chernihiv region, the Sumy region, they are fortifying. Unfortunately, Ukraine have to resettle people from there. A lot of Ukrainian villages which are in that people are asked to resettle from there because it's very dangerous to stay there. Russia continues to terrorize those people, those villages every day by attacking the food trucks, by attacking the postal trucks, by attacking the emergency vehicles. They're just attacking everything which moves there, also with the drones. So it's the life here. It becomes impossible, the peaceful life, and people have to resettle from there and let Ukrainian army to prepare for possible Russian attack on those directions, and they're building fortification there as well.
Yeah. Well, listen, Ivan, thank you very much for today's program. We will have to discuss, hopefully Friday, if you can, the further developments in all this very, I don't know, it's on one level, it's a worrisome situation. On the other level, I think it's a great situation that shows actually what's happened, that clears all this communications between different parts of the army to the better, I hope. And we'll see it on Friday, hopefully, what's happening. In the meantime, Slava Ukraini. Thank you. And Ukraine wears absolutely incredible asymmetric war against supposedly much stronger opponent. However, I'm not prepared to say anymore it's much stronger opponent. It's strong, but it's also very stupid opponent at the same time. So Ukraine will prevail. Thank you so much, everybody. Hopefully. And hopefully we'll see you Friday. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.